Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
March 29, 2021, the VW Strikes edition. And we begin with that first story as VW has announced that it will be seeking damages from former executives in the admissions fraud scandal. As reported by the New York Times, VW said it would seek financial compensation from its former CEO and the former head of its Audi division, accusing them of failing to act after learning that diesel vehicles sold in the United States were fitted with illegal emissions cheating software. The decision by the German carmaker's supervisory board marks a turnabout. VW had been reluctant to publicly accuse top managers of complicity in the emissions fraud, which cost VW billions in fines, settlements, and legal fees. At the same time, the supervisory board, in no surprise, found that it engaged in no breaches of duty, and no breaches of duty by other executives. Next up, the Wall Street Journal, Risk and Compliance Journal, Dylan Tokar reporting, says that PIMCO's, that's the Pacific Investment Management Company, is losing its chief compliance officer. Jennifer Durham will step down at the end of June after 21 years at the firm. The personnel, Nadia Zakir, who is currently the Deputy General Counsel, will take over as the Chief Compliance Officer after Durham's departure. The personnel changes come as the investment firm faces discrimination allegations. Current and former PIMCO employees wrote a letter to the firm's senior executives in January alleging a pattern of abuse and discriminatory behavior towards women and urging them to take steps to fix gaps in pay and promotions. PIMCO previously said it engaged a third-party expert to conduct an independent review and that has already addressed many of the actions recommended by current and former employees. Mrs. Durham played a key role in helping PIMCO's compliance program keep up with the firm's growth over the past 2 decades, including major changes to the regulatory landscape for the financial industry. Next up, also from the Risk and Compliance Journal, the UK Financial Conduct Authority, Mingy Sun reporting, said that it is pushing for individuals to come forward if they have information on possible wrongdoing in a new campaign that clarifies the whistleblowing process at the agency. The FCA, which regulates financial service companies in the UK, published a digital toolbook and materials this week to encourage individuals to report wrongdoing. The agency in recent years has increased the headcount of its whistleblowing team. We want to assure people that the FCA is a trusted agency for whistleblowers, clarifying the terms of reference for our service and giving people confidence in the entire process, a spokesman said. And finally, we have a story from the Washington Post. There was a story earlier or last week that Amazon workers were under such stress they were forced to urinate in bottles. And now Amazon is pushing back on social media saying that, well, that's crazy because no one would work at Amazon if that were true. Well, the problem is people do work at Amazon, and Amazon does push them beyond its limits. Whether these individual charges are true or not, it's emblematic of an entire culture where workers are literally worked to the bone, where they can't take breaks, and they have to keep on a rigorous and indeed a very rigorous schedule. So it's going to be interesting to see who wins this Twitter fight. Good luck, Amazon. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.